Hello. Do you have a cat? Do you love your cat? Are you concerned about your little one's nutritional needs? Is your cat food costing you an arm and a leg? Have you considered making your own cat food? Well, maybe you should. It takes a little time, but in the end, your wallet will thank you, and so will your little one. Homemade cat food is fresh and doesn't contain any preservatives or fillers. I've been feeding my two sweethearts homemade cat food for several months now, and they absolutely love it. And Menino here doesn't like anything. Ever since my cat food company decided to change their formula to a new and quote-unquote improved formula, my babies would just puke everywhere, and of course they chose the rug to do so. I won't tell you the name of the pet food company, but they start with the letter I. And so upset with them. So upset. So I found a website, catinfo.org, that had a wealth of information on cat nutrition, including a great recipe. Now, I would strongly suggest that you go to this website if you're interested in switching to homemade cat food. There's information on the dangers of commercial cat food, transitioning your cat to the new food, and of course all the ingredients and measurements. One difference between the recipe and her recipe and mine is that I use chicken hearts, which is a natural source of taurine, an amino acid that's vital to a cat's diet. The only reason catinfo.org's recipe doesn't call for chicken hearts is because it's hard to find. Sometimes I have a hard time too. For a recipe that uses chicken hearts, check out catnutrition.org. Now, both these websites have information on everything you ever wanted to know about your cat's health and well-being, and recipes for cat food that, well, that will leave your little one begging for more. But the one thing that they don't offer is lessons on the culinary techniques involved with the process. And that's what I would like to share with you. Now, enough of that dreadful music and on to the process. Now, I like to break the recipe up into 3 days because people have lives to lead and places to go and things to do. So, first, what we're going to do is put together the little vitamin concoction. Now, you're going to need some equipment for this. The coffee grinder is the best way to go. I don't use mine because I actually use it for coffee. Now, if you don't have a coffee grinder that you usually use for spices, you can use a mortar and pestle. It's okay. It does the job. And if you don't have any of those things, you could always use a spoon. You take the tablets. This is taurine here. If you don't have chicken hearts, you might, well, you're going to have to get them either way. And then you just, crush it, and it kind of works. Things go flying everywhere, and it make a mess all over the counter. But it'll do the trick. Now, what I have is something that I actually bought for $3 at a garage sale. It's awesome. It's a stick blender with a mini food processor attachment. So that's what I use. So these are vitamin B complex. And I'm just going to demonstrate how this thing works. I mean, if you have one of these, it's great. I actually give it a little bit of a boost by just giving it a head start by using the spoon process, just to kind of crush it a little bit. And as you can see, I had a little bit of a problem and things went flying somewhere on the floor. I just put it back in there. So that was like half of a pill, and now here's another half. Just give it a little bit of a crush, and then I put it in there. And I mean, I can't stress enough that you really do have to go to these websites. I mean, this is an entertainment video, so you're not gonna. You really do need the websites in order to get all of the information. So look at that baby whirl. Zip, zip, zip. And that's all there is to it. So, there you go. Alright, you see that that's nice and powdery. Now, whether you're using something like this or you're using a coffee grinder, I would give it like maybe a minute before you open it, because it's going to be like a huge dust cloud. So just give it a minute before you open it. Now I have like a little plastic container that I put them in, and you get this from like your wasabi from your Japanese takeout, and so I put all of my ground vitamins in this little container here, and just give it a little bit of a whack there so everything comes out, and it's all ready for storage until the day that I put it all together. This is a little spice jar that I keep labeled, designated solely for crushed tablets of taurine, and I keep this around, which you're going to need for sprinkling on food, cat food that has been frozen, because even though I use chicken hearts, which is a natural source of taurine, the freezing process sometimes denatures some of those amino acids. So I do a little sprinkle every now and then. Now it's time to tackle the wet vitamin ingredients. Now I have here a toothpick, and you're going to probably, if you don't have a safety pin, you're going to have to go through several toothpicks. Here's some vitamin E that I'm taking out, and they come in little gel tabs. You want to prick them open and squirt them right on top of your dry vitamin mixture. But as you can see, the toothpicks the tips tend to break, and I'm sorry that I have a crappy camera here, but well, basically the tip bent, and those are just no good. So I mean, they'll work for you if you don't have a safety pin, but I mean, how hard is it to find a safety pin? So I like to use a safety pin, basically. So here you see me pricking the little vitamin E tablet open, and I'm just squirting it right on top of that vitamin B complex mixture that I made, and then just toss those little shells away. For God's sakes, people, just don't prick yourself with the safety pin, okay? Just be careful with it. Now I have some salmon oil, which is another vitamin ingredient that is important for your precious little one. So I'm basically just going to do the same to this that I did to the vitamin E. And this is the time when you would put your taurine in if you don't have chicken hearts, and one batch is pretty much equal to a teaspoon, and then you would put your little stuff in to the fridge, and you're done for day one. So see you tomorrow.